Greetings. Sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary. Water in the wine glass. Get you some. I wanted to come on and to just share with you, this is my birthday season, and my birthday fruit is in season. So it's something I say a lot, right? Is that children don't buy groceries. And if I had known more about whole living foods when I was a child, life could have been so much sweeter. Well, of course, I don't buy groceries, right? So I wasn't in control of that. And as a teenager, as a young adult, really a teenager, as soon as I got some money, and you feel like you can buy what you want, all bets are off. You're buying all kinds of different treats and things. So here's a little snap at, oh my gosh, this is so fragrant. Just a little tidbit of what's available right now. These are coming from down south. So shout out to my people from Dangriga. These are blue mangoes in here. So I don't know if any of you have ever seen blue mangoes. They can get really purplish, right? And there's number 11 mangoes in here. Oh my gosh, there's all different kinds of mangoes. Who knew there are so many different types of, mangoes and avocados, which are just coming into season. And avocados, mangoes, and what's the other one? Well, there's soursop, but there's a lot of stuff in season right now. So children don't buy groceries. They don't. So just something for us to be aware of, right? And taking 110% responsibility for our health, and also just taking a moment to realize, right? As women, nurturers, and we feed the family, a lot of times we're sharing our habits with children. So if we just think of patterns, not making ourselves bad or wrong. However, accountability can be so freeing and can really go a long way in helping us to shift the trajectory of what's going to be the outcome of our children and our children's health. This is something for us to think of, which means we might not be thinking of, right? When we're constantly triggered and under a lot of stress and have so much to do, and we go for the quote unquote convenience, right? I was a person that was a junk food junkie. Although I'm a professional chef and a trainer, I remember being addicted to barbecue potato chips, Kit Kats, M&M. I was really, really bad. I'm lucky I have teeth in my mouth and I'm not 300 pounds. So a big part of what makes a healthy lifestyle sustainable for me, and something I'll share with you, is having a lot to look forward to. That really helps me to not have to diet. And that's something in years and decades in the nutrition and the fitness field, as a personal trainer and nutrition coach, and somebody that's competed, done all different types of areas of fitness. I always knew I don't want to feel restricted or like I have to diet. So quite often, this is the rationale for many of us eating substances that masquerade as food. That's what I call them. So I make an effort to be very particular about my words. To the best of my ability. I am human, because I understand that culturally a pattern that many of us have is soothing ourselves with food, right? And substances masquerading as food, substances masquerading as nutrition. So if we had to stop for a moment and take accountability, right? We are sold all of these different products to clear up our skin and fade marks, but we're eating substances that are not in alignment with really nourishing our immune system or giving us pretty skin. The Kit Kats, they didn't taste good. They didn't give me pretty skin. They didn't give me an unclogged colon. And I couldn't eat just one because it was highly addictive. As a chef and someone that's worked with chocolate in culinary school, I got to see it. And right now, where's my chocolate? Where's the chocolate around here? I didn't eat all of it. Right now, because I just had some folks that were visiting. So there's fresh raw cacao here all the time. This is fresh chocolate. This is what the chocolate looks like. It's very pungent, and it's actually it's bitter. When I grind it down for certain dishes, right, it's bitter if I open it. Actually, it's an appetite suppressant. So I always have this thing about seeing food in its whole, real, natural form. It's like light bulbs start going off. So also in culinary school, I realized that a lot of what we're eating is the fat and the sugar. So we think we're eating chocolate. However, we're not really encouraged to be critical thinkers when it comes to the food. So it's one of the reasons that I encourage whole, fresh, living foods. When I grind this down, I can see all the oils come out of it. The scent is so fragrant. It smells totally different, much, much more intense than a chocolate bar that's been massively processed that you would get out of the candy store. So also a lot of the nutritive qualities are still going to be here in the whole living food. So when I'm saying living water and living food, that's what I'm talking about. I can still recognize this as a whole food. I actually know there's several farmers that bring this in, where it's coming from. So in the city, it may not occur to us to look at how the food is being harvested and how it's coming to us. So even in the cities, I love the farmers market because I love to talk to the people that are actually handling the food. Sometimes you have workers that are selling the food right there, but they may not be handling the food. So all of this is information. It's a whole bunch of information that we're missing because we're not growing or handling our own food. So again, there's so many different reasons why I encourage you. Everybody can grow something. I don't care if it's sprouts, herbs, if you're in a room, an apartment, a house, anywhere you pay rent or mortgage you're living at, I encourage you to grow something. So mangoes, this is like one of my favorite fruits. Again, this is just like the tip of the iceberg, when it comes to treats, right? And mangoes are very, very cleansing, right? If I eat, this is what I call fast food. It's easy in and easy out. It's hydrating. It's full of water. It's full of beta carotene. It's full of vitamin C. Right. And so when folks talk about sugar, I'm not concerned about sugar here. This is what I call beauty food. This is only going to make my skin more pretty. This is also happy food, right? When you think of, okay, let's say we know that we eat for pleasure and for comfort. That's not likely to change after one good conversation. But when you can know that the food is going to love you back, it's not going to do damage to your cells like highly refined sugar. It's not going to clog up your colon. You don't have to worry about, if you're a mom, your children, a concern for us is our children. A lot of our children are constipated. That does not have to be. It's actually kind of, we want to speak in a way that's effective. Our children don't have to be constipated. And if our children, their little baby colons are already clogged from a young age, now that means there's a pattern that's already in place. There's already a trajectory. And children, it's meditation. Do not buy groceries. I think I'm going to put this on a t-shirt. So it's not wrong or right. It's just about accountability and responsibility. When we accept responsibility, right? That we think is convenient, but it's not convenient to have to give your children all kind of quick kind of drugstore elixirs. And what did they used to give us sometimes? Other than herbal washouts, there was some kind of thing that tastes like 7-Up that was a laxative. We should not have to be giving this to our children who have a fresh, brand new body, right? So this is saying to us a lot of times that our habits, if we just step back, I'm not there with you, in your quiet moments, if we are accountable and reflective, if we have habits that are not conducive to our immune system, to ourselves, to us being vibrant and moving and playing, whatever our habits are, we are training, even without words. We are training our children, right? We're setting up the trajectory for generations. When we talk about things in the DNA, studying cancer and being in the presence of lots of people coming into a holistic health center when a doctor has told them there's nothing else they can do for them. We're finally faced with the accountability and responsibility for what we have been putting into this orifice, into our body temple, the things that are not food, that are not nutritive. At this point, the information is there. It's our accountability and it's our responsibility to do the research, to read, right? Not just to read to go be a worker in someone else's company, but to read and to do research and comparative studies. That's how I've learned a lot through investing in education over the years. So a lot of the information is there. You don't need to follow me. I invite you to look at your results and also to tap into your divine onboard innate intelligence, our real common sense, that we don't need a middleman, right? If you were to smell this, Oh my God, this is fragrant. And blue mangoes. I mean, I just came from down south seeing these. I mean, some a much more deeper, dark purple. It's like, this is magnificent food. You know, if I had all these different flavors, there's no way I would have been eating now laters. You know, but growing up in the city, I wasn't exposed to this. And sometimes in the Caribbean countries, you can take this for granted until you're living in the States and you don't have access to this. So again, these are beauty foods. I just wash these off. I can, when I see these, when I was just down south, and when I see these on the trees, I can look out right now and I can see some mangoes on the trees. A lot of times you can see the sugary, syrupy sap is glistening on the mangoes. It's like, it's a whole experience. So when I'm saying whole living foods, some people ask, what do you mean by living water? What do I mean by whole living foods? It's, to me, it's bigger than a label of raw or vegan, right? So cooked by the sun, ripened. I mean, getting mangoes off the tree when they're just coming off the tree, and you can see the side of the tree that's facing more of the sun. You'll see that those fruits will ripen quicker, and you'll see the color go to like a light orange and then a red. And when you're getting them right off the tree, it's like having warm fruit pie. It's like having warm fruit pie. So that kind of experience is going to put another memory in your brain. It can alter your whole perspective on what you're putting into your mouth. So I encourage you to eat for longevity, to consume for vitality, to consume to have a body that's nice and hydrated in your joints. You know, the synovial fluid in your joints is all hydrated so you're not creaking and cracking. You may not be thinking of this in your 20s, you know, your 30s, but stuff is coming. If you don't put your 401k, if you're not making deposits, every time you put something into your mouth, you're making a deposit. You're asking your body to do a lot of work. And by the way, digestion is one of the processes that takes up the most energy from your body. So I like to communicate in a way that can set off light bulbs to get us to think without making us bad or wrong or shamed, because that's usually going to make you feel bad and make you want to stuff yourself with inappropriate things or things that are not in alignment with your goals even more. But this, this is treats. This is treats. Oh my gosh, this is so fragrant. There's so many different types of pineapples. I can chop this off and I'm going to set up another area. I have had pineapples growing in one area, and I'm going to set up, I'm looking for the other area to put my cucumbers, my watermelons, my pineapples. But you can grow from this. So when I'm saying whole living foods, this is what I'm talking about. I didn't see this growing up. Even though I have Caribbean family and some of my siblings are born in the Caribbean, I was born stateside. So I have to be careful with this, because a lot of time, almost like splinters, I'll get these into my fingers. But I can grow right from the top. So imagine when you're handling and you're interacting with the food, how this starts to, I like to say, activate your intelligence, right? Which really will go a long way in helping you to make better choices. I mean, you give this stuff to children, let children handle this stuff. Their whole thinking, the children will come back and challenge you like, that stuff in a can, that doesn't taste the same. I've had my son say, Mommy, this tastes fresh. Or look at the color on this, because he was raised in certain things. And I was very, very intentional. I said, if I have two nickels, I will not feed my child trash. And that was because I was so clear, and I'm so clear on the trajectory, the patterns, the lifestyle habits, the self-medicating without making right or wrong, because I understand there's a reason why, but the self-medicating. I was very, very intentional around joining a food co-op. Shout out to the Brooklyn Park Slope Food Co-op at a young age when my son was in a stroller, right? Constantly being in the produce section, constantly being at the farmer's market for myself and definitely for my son. That was very, very intentional. They don't buy groceries. They don't. So we're setting up their palates, right? Where their taste buds are used to certain things. If your children, if their taste bud is used to the powder, the orange powder from cheese doodles and potato chips, it's convenient, but is it really? Because I figured out at a young age, they started putting less and less potato chips inside the bag, and I wasn't getting bang for my buck with the 25 cents. So if I had to buy 8 bags, that's what I'm telling you, I could easily be, several hundred pounds. That is the trajectory. But most of it is from lifestyle habits. So it is going to require, if we want change, it doesn't have to be as hard as we think it is. Now, it can feel like a struggle, right? If it feels like a struggle, I invite you to ask that feeling of struggle, why? What is the blind spot? What's missing? Is it education? Is it experience? Why is it not sustainable? Is it because of other things? Is it because of stress and you keep allowing stressors? You keep engaging with stressors, or perhaps you haven't sat down to really chart out another way to engage with your stresses, how to remove yourself from stresses, because stressors will cause you to self-medicate as well as to secrete lots of cortisol. There's several different things. So if you have a certain result that you're not satisfied with, and if you're looking down the line, right, I always tell my clients, let's consider, where's my body going to be, and my mood and my vitality? Will I be able to play pain-free? Will I still be as energized, right, and excited about moving my body 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? I've said this to my clients. They're like, okay, some young women. And I'm like, okay, if you plan on having children some years from now, you do not want to wait until like you're pregnant before you make certain changes, right? You want to be healthy. A lot of the popular culture now with everyone who constantly, well, I'm not engaged in that, but not to knock anybody that does. There's such a culture of, just think of your bloodstream and your cells and the quality of human being you want to put out here. There's so much acidic recreational behaviors in terms of alcohol and smoking. I mean, I don't even see people so much drinking herb tea, in terms of the, weed and stuff like that. I've always wondered, if it's medicinal, why we want to fill our lungs with smoke. And it's just one woman's perspective. You're always welcome to comment respectfully. But people get very defensive about our coping habits, the habits we're using just to get by. And so surviving is not thriving. If you could just put your blood and your reproductive juices on a microscopic slide to see how it performs, right? We've never seen such numbers of autism in our children. Right? Our immune system's high. When we're engaging intimately, that's body chemistry mixing. So we really take into consideration the quality, like quality produce, the quality. Think of yourself like a fruit or vegetable. Is it quality from the inside, right? Or are we GMO people? Are we plastic people? This is just something to consider. If it doesn't resonate, respectfully leave it right here. Just one woman's perspective. This versus now laters. This versus the fake orange juices. This versus I can't even name all the chemicals that are in these things that with the carbonated water. It's like, why are we expecting beauty and vitality when we're stuffing so much non-food inside the system? It doesn't make sense. And women, our bodies are wired for cycles. Our bodies are wired to detect danger. Our bodies are actually wired for common sense and to be very, very observant of patterns, right? So I invite you to consider, right? Children don't buy groceries. And while you may think it's very expensive, I've heard over the years, people say it's very expensive over the years. And I talk about Grandma Lou all the time. My Grandma Lou could feed you with $5 and we would all be satiated. That's because this has weight on it, right? And over the years, I've said to folks, as you start to intake more whole, fresh, living foods, your bags, right? Your recycled bags you're taking to the food co-op, they're going to get heavier and your food bill will actually go down. But distinction, you're going to have to likely do some cutting and some chewing. And this is good because this is how you're going to get satiated. But there's also the experience. There's so much perfume right now going on between these pineapples and the mangoes and cacao. It's fresh, whole food. So I invite you to eat for vitality, for longevity, to be in alignment with your goals. So you can stay out of the doctor's office with them patching you up, having to do a quick tape and patch you up and give you drugs because, sometimes I wonder if there's an incentive to have most of the population as legal drug addicts, especially in our senior years. You know, I just watch and observe patterns. So there's bromelain, there's all kind of nutritive nutrients inside of here that prevent arthritis. There's something inside of here. What are you getting when you're eating the refined foods? How are you expecting beautiful skin and a flat belly when you're eating foods that have no fiber, anything that can sit on a shelf indefinitely? No, thank you. I'm not looking to embalm myself. So anyway, I just wanted to come on just very quickly. I was just meditating on that as, again, there's so much perfume right now in my house. And let's say these folks that were coming from down south were giving me, I think, about 4 or 5 of these for the equivalent of 50 cents, right? Because it's coming right off of their trees. So when I see these folks, I rack up, and I like everything fresh, but this is the one area where if I had a big freezer, I would fill the freezer full of mango. So these would be like ices for me. Remember the Marino's Italian ices? I don't know what generation is on here, but we used to get the little ices in a cup and scrape them with a spoon, you know? So imagine that versus sucking on a fresh mango. You won't have constipated children. Your body will be nice and liquid instead of all dried out from the harsh, cheap salt, which will also make your body retain water that looks just like adipose tissue. So if you're interested in seeing pictures and getting more insight, and if you'd like a guide to whole fresh living foods as a lifestyle, that would be Whole Living Foods in the Hood. That guide is available for download on body-culinary.com. For folks that have been asking about what I'm putting on my skin, so I'm not in my 20s, my 30s, or my 40s. And I don't use any store-bought stuff on my skin. I put food first, primarily inside, and I put food. If I can't eat it, it does not go on my skin. And one of my first mentors, I have to give her credit, she's the first person that put that onto my radar. Constipation is not a consideration for me. And I've never had a problem with children eating fresh fruits and vegetables. A lot of times it's in the preparation. So I liken myself to a food scientist and my own version of a farmer in my own little garden. So everybody can grow something. So there's natural beauty, no products. You can see my hair before it locked. I didn't intend for my hair to lock, but after I said, go ahead, lock. I got other stuff to do. So I'm not interested in being a slave to makeup or to hair. I like dressing and all that other stuff, but I prioritize play, being pain-free, longevity. I want to play into my 60s and to my 70s, my 80s. I plan on jumping double dutch when I am 100. And there's more stuff, more rock climbing things for me to do. I like to be able to play with my son. I want to play capoeira, you know, all of that good stuff. So that's why that's incentive for me to take good care of my body. And I get it. You know, we constantly hear folks talking about, oh, the whole pint of Haagen-Dazs. You have alternatives. If that is something that's in your trajectory to comfort yourself, I'm big on substitutions with whole food and alternatives. I don't play games when it comes to addiction, food addiction, and rather than shaming ourselves, understanding the ingrained emotional connection that we have to food. So whole fresh living foods, when I tell you, it is so huge in your toolbox. Huge in your toolbox. You can go play with makeup and all that stuff, but it's beautiful to know you don't have to. You know, I don't have to touch my eyebrows. That to me is a mental freedom. But if you want it, just check, because I know what it's like to eat a whole bunch of ice cream, a whole thing of, a lot of times I was just trying out because the adults, other people around me were doing it. And I'm also very much a foodie. But there's a whole nother world, I'm telling you. Mother Nature has not left us hanging. Greetings. Mother Nature didn't leave you hanging. She didn't leave you hanging when it comes to treats. To me, that's like, it's like a whole, it's an epiphany. It's an epiphany that I don't have to put a drop of oil in my hair. So this was the pipe cleaner curls or whatever. So they're going to drop whatever. I don't need anything but water. Are you kidding me? You know how much time and energy that could, I say, let your daughter's hair grow down to the floor for the experience. Just to know you don't have to just like driving ourselves crazy and still taking on a majority of our economics, even though shout out to all of the folks making Afro products, and putting it in other people in their culture and supporting their culture, which is not against other people, but we're more for other people than we are for ourselves. So this lifestyle will set you free. It's so simple. No cults, no religion. I ain't talking about none of that. Embrace your hair. You can leave it alone. It grows. But we are picking, damaging it until it's gone. These are habits, lifestyle habits. This is freedom. This is freedom. We got other stuff to do. There's a whole big, beautiful planet out there to see. There's other stuff for us to be doing. We got gardens to grow. We have fun. We can be playing on the aerial swing, be doing gymnastics. You know, you don't want to get to the point where you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't move my body. Then it becomes embarrassing. And to top that off, there are other things that are coming down the line. Listen, look at here. I got to jump off of here. There are other things coming down the pipeline for women and men, but I'm going to tell you as a woman, and I can tell you as somebody that studied, right? I'm a total geek nerd when it comes to the stuff. It's just my calling. There's stuff coming down the line for you. Why people talking about level up this and managing all this against each other? There's stuff coming down the pipeline if you're not taking care of your health. And sometimes I think, like, how come women are not talking about this? There's always a reason why. There's a reason why I think many women are embarrassed. Many of us may be embarrassed because now we've been so neglectful. Now bodies can't do, or it's limited now. Now it's painful. Now it's painful for you to move. Now it's extremely uncomfortable when your body becomes deconditioned. People are not going to tell you about not only just STDs, but different conditions. Before we even get to the STDs, and I just saw some stuff that blew my mind the other day. And a group of very educated women, I saw some stuff. STDs is beyond the word that blew my mind. Ain't nobody that fine, sistren or ain't nobody that fine. And I've dated some beautiful men, Black Adonis. Nobody is that fine for you to be putting your sacred reproductive organs in harm's way. We're going to be burning sage and shopping organic and then let anybody up into your orifices. Don't believe the hype, but that's just something for my young nieces and some of my nephews. Listen, we don't realize the group pressure to pressure us to move like sheep. Listening to all of these hip hop, I can't even call it hip hop, rap music that have and I'm not a prude either. But if we don't realize that this stuff is affecting our behavior, right? It's soft introducing things to us. Again, I'm not talking about religion, cults, or following celebrities who are paid to wear free clothes and orchestrate all kinds of stuff for drama. It's all a distraction. But you are going to have to live with you if you don't take care of your body. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but more than likely you will suffer. Things going to happen to your body anyway with the best care. But invest in your body. And if you're a mom, at least an hour, half an hour bare minimum every day to take care of yourself. I've been telling clients for years, put your yoga mat and your physio ball in the area, so you could train your family. That's your gym. Your children know that's your movement center. That there's one area that you designate for your movement, your personal, as I like to call it, your personal movement practice, your space for vigorous, joyous movement. See, doesn't that occur differently than exercise? Vigorous, joyous movement. Vigorous. Get your heart rate up, blood pumping, all that good nutrition and spinach, all that organic stuff circulating throughout your bloodstream, right? It can't get around if you're just sitting in front of YouTube all day. So that's why I invite you. There's a little video on this channel. How to make the best use of this channel is while you're chopping vegetables, perhaps replace some of this stuff to give yourself support. I'm huge, big in my toolbox, support. Create positive support for yourself. Because this thing is addictive. Even sometimes watching horror stories that keep you, I would say, paralyzed in a state of paralysis, it's addictive. It becomes addictive. And I liken it to the things that you're scared of. It's almost like psychologically, you're afraid to take your eye off of it because it could overtake you. So I think it's really something for us to, just on a basic level, understand our own psyche, because the companies do. They understand triggeration. So if we're going to be triggered, and that's part of the human makeup, you might as well make the triggeration work for you. Trigger yourself with some plants, with the garden, with your activities, with the visuals you have around, perhaps creating some screen shares. You know, when the computer, it goes to a rest cycle, the images that are on there. I have images of me relaxing in nature, of Grandma Lou, you know, things that inspire me. Any opportunity I can to put things around myself, all kinds of flowers and juicers and, you know, things that encourage me to get into action around what I say I value. Your time is your most precious commodity, whether in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. I encourage you. You know, the internet could be trash, or you can use it as one of the, like, you have access. You have access to talk to me in another country. You have access to information. I told you, I be farming with some girls in China. I have had people before this whole internet that have been my homies for years. They didn't even know they were my homies. They were my fitness homies, my nutrition homies. They didn't complain. I invite you to create support for yourself because it is enticing. I would even say it's hypnotic to get drawn into all of this stuff that is psychologically stressing you out and will take you off of your trajectory. When I'm watching certain things, you know, some of my fitness homegirls, I stay constantly inspired. But then when you change the channel and you hear just this kind of Jerry Springerish nonsense and this back and forth, it's crazy, but it's hypnotic. And you can waste hours and hours. There could have been an hour of play, an hour inside the garden, and an hour of a nap. You know, so no one really has it in your best interest to take care of you but you. Breath of fresh air this morning, as always. Oh, thank you, Lauren. Thank you for constantly giving your mother love and wisdom. You are so welcome. Good morning. I just joined your space, just waiting for approval. Much love, Central Savage. I don't know if that means here, and Emma B. So I don't know if that means on Wix. So the next cycle of classes is starting for Cocoon. That's private. If somebody wants to, that's very intense coaching going in to really get to the bottom of mindless eating and to really cultivate an awareness, because that's more subtle than people would think. Because I watch a lot of us, we go in and out of consciousness, right? And with that denial and not being accountable to what we're eating and the emotional attachment. So I'm not a psychologist. However, this is one of my areas of specialty. So it's getting into that and really getting on board with some positive accountability and some uncovering and some solutions, right? As well as a lot of relaxation. That's in the wee hours. That's usually from 4 to 6 in the morning, my time in Central America. So that is Cocoon. That is very, very personal and intense. Then there is at 6:15. So if those folks that are in Cocoon want to jump into Hit It and Quit It, Hit It and Quit It. 40 minutes. That's all you need, Monday through Thursday. And then I'm also giving guidance for the rest of the week because we also have gardening. We have other things to do. So that's from 6:15. That's like 40 minutes. You'll be dripping in sweat. Trust me. And I make lots of recommendations with corrective exercise if you have issues with your back or with your knees, right? So you can contact me if you're interested in that. Lunchtime classes is efficient fitness, right? So are you doing enough? Are you not doing enough? Is your form off? Why are you not getting results? Are you inconsistent? And what kind of strategies are you going to use? And also being accountable, just like this body is a business. So if it's not functioning, are we going to have to close the doors on the business? So efficient fitness and also common sense nutrition. I could give 2 peach pits about what you call yourself: vegan, raw, keto, down south, Southern, Caribbean. Accountability to what you are putting in for fuel, how much you're eating, the quality of it, if your consumption patterns are in alignment with your goals, right? Goals being on this side of the internet, longevity, vitality. You feel vibrant. You know what it's like to feel like energized. You can't wait to get out of bed, right? That's all going to play into your digestion, how clogged you are, and finding what you can live with. I've lived out of a suitcase for many years in the travel industry. Totally sustainable, even if you're on a spending plan, right? So before you can get to me, I recommend everyone get Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget. You have different ideas on all kinds of shops. If you're at the food co-op, the wholesaler, or even if you're at some of the little fruit and vegetable stands, some ideas on what you can do with the whole fresh living food. When I say whole fresh living, I'm not kidding. It's the whole food. So that's your guide. It has pictures in it. If you're a mom, parent, I laid it out there because I was thinking of all the questions people ask me, and I put it right there. Boop. So you can download that even before you speak to me. I recommend, because that's going to answer a lot of your questions. So if you've already gone over that, you asked about my skin, how I cleared up all that crazy looking acne, natural beauty, no products. I put it there. I really thought about all the questions, and people have been laughing at me for putting food on my face. Y'all can laugh all you want, but all the products in the health food store, all that benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, did nothing for me. And I tried it out, but intuitively, I knew it was coming from what I was eating. So I had to pay the tab for everything I had put into my body temple. I was in a toxic, very vain YouTube portal, and then your live chat popped up. You snapped me out of that black. Now let's get, yeah. She said, now as I'm listening to you, as I'm packing for the gym, listen, I'm the queen. If I had a stair mill right here, but if I don't have a stair mill, I'm the queen of working a little space. I am the queen for years. Even when I was competing, people used to think I was going to a gym initially. It was right in my little space, my little house on the bottom floor of a brownstone with my son. I'm the master of a space. I'm master. So my space is going to be set up to be a sanctuary, a paradise. I got my little play area. So I'm enticed to play. I'm enticed to play in my food, and also play in my hair and soak and luxuriate. Why are you paying rent and mortgage if you don't have your space set up for you? So bring all your little tools in there. So they blow this sucker up, honey. You got your play space. You have your garden. You have your apothecary, right? Self-care, because we're enticed to all of this stuff, this back and forth. And I'm not knocking folks. Y'all got to do what you got to do. I am not telling grown folks what to do. I ain't Jesus. I'm not in the martyr, and I'm not a mule. I'm not here for abuse. I'm not here for going back and forth. That's a waste of time. You get nothing. If you're leaving a communication and you and the other person don't leave any more enriched, inspired, did you get some kind of information? What does it do for me to go and blurt out, what I know, in my opinion? I didn't get anything out of the exchange for my time. I got to get something back. And at this point in my life, I am much more aware, right? So wisdom, I like to say, is hard-earned wisdom, because you think you know a lot in your 20s. Sometimes you make your worst mistakes that change and alter the trajectory of your life in your 20s and trying to rebel or whatever, and wind up having to pay the tab for about 30-something years. But that's another story. So I need to get something. I'm into reciprocal relationships. I'm much more aware of what I'm allowing. Right? Instead of saying somebody did this to me and I hate them, I'm much more aware of what I'm allowing. And if I don't have the courage to be respectfully confrontational about what my standards are and what my healthy boundaries are, you see? So are you your circle of influence? Are you surrounding yourself with a circle of influence where, you're encouraging each other, like somebody's giving you some tips on finance or on health, on hair care, something? Am I getting something back? Am I uplifted? Am I motivated? I have homies where I see them, let me go run and go do some movement. Ooh, let me go make that juice recipe or whatever. I don't play with that. That's been in my toolbox for years because it worked. I want to do what works. I invest in coaches. I'm a coach, and I've invested in coaches for years. There are certain things that just simply work. So anyway, let me hop off of here. Y'all create a great day on purpose. Feel free to check out Kwasa with a K, peaceful, like full belly, eating on TikTok. I like to think of using that for a vision board. I do post on Body-Culinary on Instagram. I post here, and there's only but so much I can post on here. I'm really finding a way to regulate my interaction with the internet because I actually find it psychologically draining. So I'm not here to say like, oh, I'm not affected. I'm just superwoman. You can be affected by everything that you're engaging with, and also if it is one way. So people demanding, give me this. I want to see this. And I'm like, do people consider that you're taking your time? You don't get paid, from YouTube. I don't, but whatever it is, even if whatever it is, that it's my time, and my time and my emotions and my energy is precious. Are precious. I hope that you consider your time and your energy precious. If you're going to engage, don't make it bad or wrong, but is it effective? Are you getting, what are you getting out of it? If we're just going like a stampede and we're like mobs, we're easily distracted. Then we're, wondering why we have the turnout or the lack of turnout that we have, why we have the results that we have. So it's a lot of stuff I can't do anything about. But I have made a decision to be accountable and responsible for myself because most folks don't care. And care is based in tangible actions and investment of time and energy. So I encourage you, not just with other people, but with yourself, to look at your actions. Are you engaged in actions around your core values, the things that you say that you value? Are you getting into action? In your quiet moments, are you paralyzed? Are you paralyzed by too much information or too much fear thinking? These are things to really consider. So these are some of the things that we go over in the cocoon and the lunchtime classes. We're getting down to the business of being very accountable, motivated, but just running the diagnostics on your food, whatever label you want to call yourself is your BI bubble I business. And whatever people say, oh, I don't eat much. And if you're carrying 200 pounds of adipose tissue, but you don't eat much, then something is not being acknowledged. There's a lack of accountability. See, that's not making somebody bad, wrong, or calling names of yourself. There's a blind spot there. There's a lack of accountability or a lack of awareness. Right? If you're going to the gym every day and your body composition, not even necessarily your weight, if your body composition is not changing, that says that something is not effective. There's a blind spot there. So I absolutely love going over the blind spots. And I love watching the light bulbs go off in people's heads. And I also enjoy all the emails. I got this, I'm doing this, when I can hear people's excitement around really enjoying, like, a loving on yourself lifestyle with a healthy sense of, I don't know if I want to say vanity, but that's the first word. Maybe it's something deeper than vanity, but there's a healthy sense. There's something that comes. It's a literal love and care for yourself. You raise the standard so high, you put all that time into yourself. There's no way you're going to allow certain things in because you just did all of that work. You just did all of that work. One time I had this woman saying, "Oh, I hate you." One of the high-end gyms, I hate you. And I was like, dang, what you hate me for? She said, because I saw your sign, I saw your arms back then I was competing. And I was like, please, at the black one, please don't ever say that to me. I'm in this gym before this sucker opens up to do at least a half an hour of cardio and then put my shirt on and go train a client. Why don't you join me before the gym opens on the stair mill? Because a lot of times this is challenging. It's difficult. Don't get me. She said, I was just joking. It's not funny to me. That's not funny. You make light of a lot of our pain. Don't do that. You don't have to talk about the next sister. Go ask a question. What are you doing? And be accountable. And if you don't want to be accountable, be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Accept that. Take ownership over that. But don't hate on me. When I'm sitting and bleeding with sweat and running on the treadmill with a weighted vest on, don't do me like that. You'd be better off asking a question and getting some kind of inspiration. Are you leaving your interactions more inspired? Are you motivated to get into action? So over the last week, I've had several people saying, I'm in the garden. That's what I'm talking about. That's motivation. Even as a trainer, I said to clients, I get that you're paying me, but there are some things that are worth more than money, right? As a trainer, I don't really get off on, okay, if you give me $150, $200, and now I'm standing there, I'm not a babysitter. That's like, that's not fun. But to watch clients' transformation, that gets me going. That makes me happier than a pineapple. The time you give us for free. So don't let it be for free, child, because my godparents have given me some. Grandma Lou has given. This ain't free. Share your results. Pay it forward. Reciprocity. That's something. Reciprocity in meditation. If you're taking, like we're taking from Mother Earth, how can we litter? That's disgusting. Mother Nature is breastfeeding. That's what I tell my son all the time, and it's true. She's breastfeeding us, and you're going to throw litter on the ground? Wow. Really? Really? That's a mentality. See, this is why we're struggling. It's the dieting. It's a mentality. It's a mentality. Nothing is free. Figure out how you can reciprocate. And when you reciprocate, you get more. When you reciprocate, you get more. The energy, how you're showing up. Make those deposits into yourself. Acknowledge where you're getting your inspiration. I always have to talk about my godparents and my grandma Lou and the folks that inspire me and give them credit because they've given me more Then they give me way more. I have gotten so much. My godparents recommended that I do 10 hours of community service back in the day. And I was like, are you kidding me? I got one of the best things in my toolbox has gotten me promotions, has landed me up in other countries. So reciprocity, get your energy, lively up yourself. And then see where can you reciprocate to where you're getting it from. My godparents can get gifts, fresh juice from me till they're 110 years old because of what they have given me. And reciprocity is very, very important. That's a mentality. That's beyond any kind of religion. It's a mentality. It's an awareness. So that self-care, all of this stuff is connected. All right, I'm out of here. Create a great day. You're invited to, because I don't tell grown folks what to do. I'm about to go get into my movement practice. I got a couple of classes. I invite you to create a great day, and because I said so. This is going on. Bank account look like this. I got a whole lot of weed in to do it. Just because you said so. This person's blowing this up. This negative is going on. I can't do nothing about that. What I can do is get out in the garden, take care of myself. I'm about to go commune with some phenomenal women. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. What I always wanted. They're like on fire in their different respects. I'm getting something back. All of them have so much talent and on board. That's what I'm talking about. What's up with your circle of influence? So I invite you to replay this. Put it back on. As you're cleaning, burn your little incense in your sage, but don't just burn the sage. You get so hooked on ritual and affirmation that you're not in action. Make the juice. Do the movement practice. Plant the little seeds, even if you feel like they're going to die. I bet you learn something. Create a great day on purpose. Share the video. Support the channel and all that good stuff. Check me out also, Body-Culinary on Patreon. All right, see you soon.